Welcome back. On Tuesday, President Joe Biden made his first State of the Union address. It was a balancing act between the war in Ukraine and addressing ongoing problems here at home. Our Washington correspondent Trevor Shirley has the highlights.
The president came out hard against Russia and promised to keep up crippling sanctions on Vladimir Putin and his regime.
When the history of this era is written, Putin's war in Ukraine will have left Russia weaker and the rest of the world stronger.
The president again promised to protect every inch of NATO territory should it be threatened. He received applause and praise from both parties during his Ukraine remarks, including his announcement that all Russian aircraft are now banned from U.S. airspace.
We're giving more than $1 billion of direct assistance to Ukraine and will continue to aid the Ukrainian people as they defend their country.
The president also addressed rising inflation and laid out plans to reinvest in U.S. manufacturing, speed up supply chains, and bring down the cost of child care.
One way to fight inflation is to drive down wages and make Americans poorer. I think I have a better idea to fight inflation. Lower your costs, not your wages.
The president also highlighted progress against COVID-19 and notably showed up without a mask on, following the advice of the Capitol physician.
COVID-19 no longer need control our lives.
The president also honored 2 fallen New York City police officers while rebuking a slogan popular with some members of his own party.
The answer is not to defund the police, it's to fund the police. Fund them with resources and training. Resources and training they need to protect our communities.
After the address, Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds gave the Republican rebuttal, hitting the president on his handling of Afghanistan, COVID policies, and the economy.
The Biden administration believes inflation is a, quote, high-class problem. I can tell you, it's an everybody problem.
Here for you in Washington, Trevor Shirley, 6 News.
Yeah, reaction to the president's address was fast and furious. The Rundown caught up with 3 members of Michigan's congressional delegation to find out what they thought, and here are some of their comments and their concerns.
It checked a lot of boxes of things I wanted to see. I thought the most important thing was that he focused on things that tend to have really significant bipartisan support. And I think that's what the country needs right now. They need to hear that after 2 years of COVID, there's a path not only out of the virus, but out of this sort of vitriol between Americans. So I appreciated those things, and particularly things like the American manufacturing focus. That's right in my wheelhouse. That's right what Michiganders really care about, supply chains, that kind of thing. So I thought it was good.
Well, I think the president struck the right tone on Ukraine, mobilizing, support, humanitarian support, military support for the people of Ukraine to defend themselves. I was disappointed with a lot of the other policy initiatives. He kind of doubled down on things that are making him a very unpopular president, skyrocketing inflation. He talked about the drug problems and the need to secure the border, but he really hasn't done that. And the reason we have these fentanyl coming across the border and human trafficking is because the border isn't secure. So, I think people want to support the president on Ukraine, but we need to move away from some of these socialist policies that are really tanking our economy.
I certainly enjoyed the speech, and I certainly think it's incredibly important that we deal with issues that were raised by President Biden. I was particularly encouraged about his focus on onshoring manufacturing here in the United States. There's nothing more important, something that I've been focused on over the years. In fact, as he talked about in his speech, that of the inflation rate that we're seeing, a good share of that is because of auto prices, and particularly used cars that are going up because of supply chain problems associated with the fact that we're over-dependent on foreign countries for critical components. That has to stop.
Coming up on the Capitol Rundown, we check in with our Washington correspondent. She'll have the inside scoop on the State of the Union and Ukraine. That's when the Rundown returns.